Welcome, welcome everyone. I am Subhashish Chandra and I talk about physics in this channel. In the last video, I had talked about the story of atom and today I am starting a new series, The Cosmos. In this series, we are going to look into the solar system, the stars, the galaxies and the universe in general. Today, we will start with our first chapter, Sun. The Sun is a yellow dwarf hot ball of glowing gases. That is, the Sun is a star and our solar system is centered around this star. The gravitational force it exerts holds the entire solar system together, from the largest planets to the smallest debris. It is as if everybody is at its beck and call. The connection and interactions between the sun and earth drive the seasons, ocean currents, weather, and climate here. Though it is our own and is very special and dear to us, it is not unique. There are billions of stars like our sun scattered across the galaxy in which we reside. It's called the Milky Way galaxy, and there are billions of galaxies in the entire universe. Let's take a brief overview of the sun. The radius of the sun is 6,96,340 km. So, if you were to put earth and sun together, you can put 109 earths across the sun's belly. The mass of the sun is 2 into 10 to the power of 30 kgs, and this is about 99.86% of the entire solar system. The sun is composed of 70 to 75% hydrogen, 23 to 28% helium, and 2% other heavier elements. The source of energy is the nuclear fusion of hydrogen, and the sun is the only source of energy for both heat and light for the entire solar system. The temperature at the core, that is the center of the sun, is about 15.7 million kelvins. The temperature at the surface is 6000 kelvins, whereas the temperature at the corona is 2 million kelvins, which is outside the surface. The rotation of the sun at the equator is 25 days, whereas the rotation of the sun at its poles is 35 days. These temperature differences and the differential rotation are few of the many reasons which make the sun an interesting candidate for inspection. Let's look into the regions of the sun. At the very center is the core. The core comprises of 40 to 50% of the entire solar mass and 20% of its volume. It extends from the center to about zero point 0.2 solar radius, and the temperature here is about 15.7 million kelvins. The fusion of hydrogen occurs in this region. This reaction yields the energy which is not only the source of energy of the sun but the entire solar system. As we move from the center outwards, the temperature and the density of the core decreases. The next region is the radiative zone. It extends from zero point 0.2 solar radius to zero point 0.7 solar radius. Fusion does not take place in this region. The solar material in this region is hot and dense enough so that the thermal radiation is the primary mean of energy transfer from the core. Although the photons travel at the speed of light, they bounce so many times that it takes almost 170,000 years for a single photon to finally reach the top of the radiative zone. From the bottom of the radiative zone to the top, the temperature falls from 7 million kelvins to 2 million kelvins. The next region is the convective zone, which is there from zero point 0.7 solar radius to the surface. With reduced energy, the light is absorbed by gaseous atoms in the convection zone, which hold on to it rather than bouncing it off. This produces a rolling motion. much like a pot of boiling water. It only takes a little more than a week for the hot material to carry its energy to the top of convection zone. From the bottom of the convective zone to the top, the temperature falls to about 6000 Kelvin. The next region is the photosphere. Photosphere basically means the light sphere. It is the surface of the sun. It is called the surface of the sun because at the top of it, the photons are finally able to escape into the space. The layer is about 100 km thick and has a surface temperature of about 6000 Kelvin. This is the surface which is normally visible to us from the earth. The next region is the chromosphere. Above the photosphere is a layer of gas approximately 2000 km thick. The chromosphere is also called the sphere of color. In the chromosphere, energy continues to be transported by radiation and the temperature rises from 6000 Kelvin to 20,000 Kelvin. The next region is a thin and very irregular layer that separates the hot corona from the much cooler chromosphere. The region is called the transition region and the temperature here changes from 20,000 Kelvin to 1 million Kelvin. Instead of hydrogen, the light emitted by the transition region is dominated by ions of carbon, oxygen, and silicon. These ions emit light in the ultraviolet region of the solar spectrum and that is only accessible from outside the Earth's atmosphere. The next region is the corona. The corona is the sun's atmosphere and is visible only during total eclipses. It is seen as a pearly white crown surrounding the sun, hence giving it the name. In this region, the temperature suddenly rises to about 2 million kelvins. This sudden rise of temperature is still a matter of research. Solar winds of speeds about 400 km per second arises in this region which are then present in the entire solar system. The sun's visible surface sometimes has dark sunspots, which are areas of intense magnetic activity that can lead to solar explosions. Let us look into the sunspots and their dependence on the solar cycle. Electric currents in the sun generate a magnetic field that is carried out through the solar system by the solar wind. The solar wind is a stream of electrically charged gas blowing outward from the sun in all directions. The solar cycle is the cycle that the sun's magnetic field goes through approximately every 11 years. Every 11 years or so, the sun's magnetic field completely flips. That is, the sun's north and south poles switch places as you can see in the figure. Then it takes about another 11 years for the sun's north and south poles to flip back again. In the figure you can see the solar cycle 24, that is the latest solar cycle. On the left and the right of the figure, the activity shown by the sun is at its minimum, whereas the activity is maximum at the center of the sun. This solar cycle affects the sunspots as well, which are caused by the sun's magnetic fields. Now, at the minimum of the solar cycle, it is rare to see sunspots on the sun, and the spots that do appear are very small and short-lived. During the solar maximum, there will be sunspots visible on the sun almost all the time. Solar activity can affect satellite electronics and limit their lifetime. Radiation can be dangerous for astronauts who do work on the outside of the International Space Station. If scientists predict an active time in the solar cycle, satellites can be put into safe mode and astronauts can delay their spacewalks. Now let us look into the family of the sun, the solar family or the solar system. The family has 8 planets, many Kuiper belt objects, many asteroids, comets. We'll look into them in the videos that are going to come. In the next video, we are going to look into the terrestrial planets, that is Mercury, Venus, Mars, and our own Earth, and we'll call that the rocky neighbors. Till then, stay healthy, stay safe. Thank you.